Hello, everybody. I am here with Reverend Jasiel Hernandez, who is one of our four Lake Fellow residents in pastoral ministry here at Second Presbyterian Church, and one of the two, along with Reverend Kelly Jepson, who you heard from last week, who is preparing to end his time with us as a resident and head out into new ministries where God is calling him to serve next. And so I wanted to just take a chance here to let you hear from Jasiel and conversation between us as he prepares to make his next move. So Jasiel, thanks for taking the time to chat with me this afternoon.
Absolutely. I'm excited to share some of my updates, and also I'm so grateful for you all here at Second Church.
We sure are grateful for you and the many ways you've blessed our congregation, and certainly grateful for your friendship and to have you as a colleague in ministry. So just to start, tell us a little bit about if you were to rewind 2 years as you began this residency, what was it that drew you to Second and drew you to the Lake Fellow Pastoral Residency?
Yes, absolutely. So as I look back, I think the primary thing that made this residency so unique and so great was the fact that we get to learn from different people, right? Not only during the rotations that we do with pastoral care and mission, but also with the people, with the staff from the fine arts department or from the formation committee, or all the people that work in education and missions and all these other areas of the church, financial giving and all of that. So I think it was just being able to see how pastors really do their ministry, their specific ministry, and do it well was like the thing that attracted me the most to this residency.
Yeah, the breadth of what's offered, and you certainly have found a way to dive into lots of different areas of ministry over these 2 years. I think you've made the most of that for sure. So now, 2 years later, I don't know about you, but the 2 years have certainly flown by for me. As you're reflecting back, what are some of the gifts that this residency has given you? What are some of the things that you'll take with you as you move on?
Yeah, I think a couple of things are the takeaways, and something that I will really treasure for after I leave this place. And one of them, the number one is, trusting my own voice. I think that's one of the greatest gifts that Second has given me, and all the people and staff and the congregation is knowing, realizing who I am and the gifts that I bring, and being able to offer that and bring those to the table, right? And people being affirmative and people being supportive and giving me the permission to empowering me to really develop my voice and my personality and who I am as a pastor. So I think that's the main takeaway. And the other one is really trusting myself. I think trusting my leadership and knowing that I can do stuff like I am enough, right? Like and that has been shown by the kindness and the people and from the congregation and from everyone on staff also, just as they gave me some projects to lead on, as they trusted me with pastoral care or leading a mission project or the second year project and so forth. So I think really trusting that I am equipped, and also the Holy Spirit equips us, so growing together on that. So
I think certainly the residency is about shaping pastors, and I love your witness to that and feeling both formed and empowered. But I think you also, to me, that also highlights the other side, which is I think the residency has shaped this congregation in a lot of ways, and I love the ways in which the members of the church, the members of the staff see themselves as part of shaping future leaders for the church. And so that's kind of shaped the congregation in such a way that they take that call very seriously. And I say the Lake Fellow Residency has taught this church how to welcome new people, how to bless them while they're here, and how to send them on their way as well. So it's definitely a mutually beneficial kind of relationship. So as you look back, I wonder if there's a particular experience of ministry or a particular moment that you can point to as as I'm sure there's a long list, but sort of a top highlight of the 2 years?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things was helping with Christmas benevolence, especially the Friday before. That's when we do bed deliveries, and we go all over town, right? And we spend the whole day driving all over the city and delivering beds, and you really get to see people and talk to them, just because they invite you in, and you go and you bring all this stuff, right? And also, it's so empowering to see how Second Church is transforming lives, right? Just not within the church, but also outside the church. And I think that was one of my favorite memories, and also working with the deacons from that committee, and spending the whole day telling stories and joking, and it was a lot of fun. It was certainly one of my favorite things here at Second. And of course, the second one has to be my ordination, just because of how special that was, and how all the people that came from the congregation to the service. I was surprised to see the chapel full of people and being super supportive, and just like staying after the service and really getting to know my family. I thought that was so special. Like, they were all really curious about getting to know my mom and my brother and what they're up to, and they were just so kind. So such kindness and welcoming and hospitality, I think, it's what makes Second also a really unique space.
Yeah, yeah. I think many of us would name that ordination day as a highlight of the last 2 years. I will never forget the look on your mother's face during the service, and hearing your uncle preach, and just all the ways in which so many different worlds came together in that time for you, and of course Jessie being there, and her family, and just such a wonderful coming together. I think ordinations are one of the best things we Presbyterians do, and that was a perfect example of what it can be. I was thinking as well about, I love that you named Christmas benevolence, because another memory I have of you, right down here outside of the multi-purpose room, Christmas benevolence of 2018, you drew the straw of the mission rotation for your first rotation, and so you were the CB Lake Fellow. And for someone who'd never lived this far north or had to deal with early December weather in Indianapolis, it was a pretty dreary day, if I remember correctly. And your spirits were still high, even after spending most of the morning out in the cold, wet rain, bringing people through and making sure that the deliveries were happening. So I love that spirit that you bring to your ministry, and that sense of hopeful optimism that really permeates everything that you do. And as I think about that, your hopeful optimism is headed to Atlanta. So tell us about where you're headed next, and the call that you've received, and kind of what you're excited about as you venture forth.
Yes, of course. So in 2 weeks, we'll be making the move down to Atlanta, and then I'll be starting at Central Presbyterian Church in downtown Atlanta on July 1st as the associate pastor for engagement and mission. And so it's a very exciting position. And I'm excited to be able to work with all the local missions in the city of Atlanta, and also all the initiatives for social justice and political initiatives as well. And also working with the hospitality, the part of engagement, right? New member programs, and also how education for the people who are interested in joining the church and so forth. So I think those two really go together, and I'm excited to see how the spectrum of this ministry will really develop and continue to evolve in the next few years.
Yeah. No, I think it's a fantastic congregation, a fantastic call. And I think of Central Atlanta in some ways like Second, in that it is a historic, well-loved in the city, very kind of core to the life of the city of Atlanta, really for a very long time, right across the street from the state capitol. And yet it has the ability to kind of reinvent its identity in this moment. They have a young new senior pastor, and bringing you on as a young new associate pastor. And I think it'll be a fantastic new chapter for that historic church, which has been really one of the strongest, most vital Presbyterian churches in the South, and certainly in the city of Atlanta. So I'm so excited, because I think it's filled with opportunity and a perfect fit for your gifts and where you feel called. So congratulations on that call,
Thank
and
you.
lots of excitement as we send you down to Atlanta. Also, lots of sadness as we say goodbye, and lots of gratitude for this time shared. I wonder if, as you have the chance this coming Sunday to preach to the second congregation, and invite everybody to tune in at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning online to hear Jasiel's departing sermon. But before that, or as you prepare that, what hope would you give to Second Presbyterian Church? What words would you want to leave us with as you end your residency?
Yes, so I've been reflecting on that, just because it's this last week and then the last sermon, right? So it's a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions happening. But I think, my hope is truly that we continue to hold on to that which is good, right? As the Apostle Paul calls us to hold on to that which provides kindness and hospitality and love and grace, and especially during these difficult times, that it is easier to really forget those things and become frustrated and stressed and anxious. But I think our call really is to hold on to that, to the goodness that God has given us and God has shown us, and share that as much as we can in every way possible, and really be the voice and the voice of God in here in this world, and that spreads good news to people.
Yes. Well, that's a wonderful blessing and benediction for our church, and you certainly have left us with lots of good that we will hold on to as we send you on. So thanks be to God for your ministry, Jasiel, and thanks be to God for this time together, and we'll look forward to hearing from you on Sunday. I did want to mention that Jasiel and I did not coordinate our wardrobe choices for this Zoom call, but worked out just fine. Thanks, Jasiel. We'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Second Presbyterian Church.